You've spent your entire life learning how to take care of yourself. You eat better, you stay active, you try to make the right choices. And in the middle of it all sits one trusted companion, your refrigerator. It hums quietly in the background, always full, always dependable. But what if that fridge, the very thing meant to preserve your health, was actually quietly compromising it? I know it sounds strange. After all, cold storage is safe, right? It keeps food from going bad, prevents illness, extends shelf life. But here's the truth most seniors don't know. Some foods, when stored in the fridge, lose their nutritional power. Others, they build up harmful compounds. And a few can even become breeding grounds for dangerous bacteria. This isn't fear-mongering, it's science. And the kicker? These aren't exotic or uncommon foods. They're everyday staples, like potatoes, tomatoes, and even honey. Items we've all refrigerated for years, without question. If you're over 60, your digestion slows down, your immune system shifts, and your body becomes more sensitive to subtle changes. So what may be harmless at 30 could be a real concern at 65. In today's episode of The Wellness Vault, we're unlocking the 7 common foods that seniors should never refrigerate, and the surprising reasons why. Some lose their antioxidants, some spike your inflammation, and some, they could quietly be undermining your health, meal after meal. But don't worry, we're not just telling you what not to do. We'll show you the right way to store them, how to preserve their benefits, and how to protect your well-being with a few simple shifts in your kitchen habits. Stick with us until the end, because the last food on this list is in almost every senior's fridge, and almost nobody realizes how dangerous it can be. Let's take a look inside your fridge and your future. Number 7 is honey. Honey has been revered for thousands of years, not just as a natural sweetener, but as a powerful medicinal food. It's rich in antioxidants, enzymes, and trace minerals that support everything from immune health to wound healing. For seniors in particular, honey can be a gentle way to soothe sore throats, improve sleep quality, and even aid digestion. But when you put that golden nectar into the fridge, you're not preserving it. You're corrupting it. Refrigeration causes honey to crystallize. Now, many people think crystallized honey is just a cosmetic issue. It's not. When honey crystallizes, it loses its smooth texture and becomes gritty or chunky. For younger folks, that might be annoying. But for seniors with sensitive gums, dental work, or dentures, it can actually be painful to consume. Worse, many people reheat crystallized honey in the microwave, which destroys its delicate enzymes and antioxidant properties, turning a healing food into little more than sugary syrup. Beyond texture, there's also a little-known chemical shift. The colder temperatures can encourage the separation of glucose and water in honey, increasing the chances of fermentation over time, especially in raw or unpasteurized honey. This can introduce yeasts or alter the flavor profile, subtly damaging its medicinal qualities. The very nutrients that make honey a natural health booster begin to degrade under cold storage conditions. The solution? Keep your honey tightly sealed in a dark cabinet at room temperature. If it does crystallize, gently warm it in a bowl of hot water, never the microwave, to restore its original consistency without killing off its healing compounds. And always use a clean, dry spoon to avoid introducing moisture that can speed up spoilage. Honey, when stored properly, is one of the longest-lasting natural foods on the planet. But once it's in the fridge, its legendary shelf life and healing power begin to fade. So if you want to keep your honey sweet, smooth, and potent, keep it cool, but not cold. Number 6 is garlic and oil. Garlic is one of the most powerful natural remedies in existence. It's antibacterial, antifungal, and supports heart health and circulation, an ideal staple for seniors. And when infused in oil, it becomes a popular homemade health elixir. Many seniors use garlic and oil blends to flavor meals or as part of natural healing routines. But when stored improperly, especially in the fridge, this seemingly healthy combo can become a serious health hazard. The problem lies in the environment garlic and oil create together: low acid, low oxygen, and nutrient dense. It's the perfect breeding ground for Clostridium botulinum, the bacteria responsible for botulism, a rare but potentially deadly illness. And here's the frightening part: refrigeration doesn't stop it. In fact, cold, oxygen-free environments actually help this bacteria grow faster. For seniors, seniors, the risk is even higher. As we age, our immune systems become less efficient at recognizing and responding to harmful toxins. Botulism can lead to muscle paralysis, breathing difficulties, and neurological symptoms, and it can escalate quickly. Symptoms often go misdiagnosed because they mimic other age-related issues like fatigue, dizziness, or weakness. Even though botulism cases from garlic oil are rare, the consequences are so severe that no risk is worth it. That's why the CDC and food safety experts strongly advise against storing homemade garlic oil mixtures for more than a few hours. Even in the fridge, if you love garlic-infused oil, only purchase commercial versions that are acidified and properly preserved, or make small, single-use batches at home and use them immediately. Garlic may be a health hero, but when mixed with oil and left in the wrong conditions, it can become a hidden danger, especially for seniors aiming to support their health. Proper storage can mean the difference between wellness and emergency. When in doubt, throw it out. Number 5 is onions. Onions are a kitchen essential. Whether you're sautéing them for flavor, slicing them raw into a salad, or using them for their natural anti-inflammatory properties. They're full of quercetin, a plant compound that supports blood pressure, heart health, and immune function. But while they may seem durable, placing whole onions in the fridge is one of the fastest ways to ruin both their health benefits and your safety. Refrigerators create a moist, enclosed environment. Onions, on the other hand, need ventilation. When exposed to cold and humidity, whole onions absorb moisture and become soft, mushy, and prone to mold growth. More concerning is that the damp conditions can encourage the growth of listeria, a type of bacteria that's particularly dangerous for older adults, especially those with compromised immune systems. Cut onions are a separate story. Once sliced, onions begin releasing sulfur compounds that break down rapidly. If not sealed tightly, these compounds can spread to other foods in your fridge, altering flavors and even accelerating spoilage. Even when wrapped, sliced onions only stay fresh for about 2 days before their quality and safety decline significantly. So, what's the best storage method? Keep whole onions in a cool, dark, well-ventilated place, like a pantry or mesh bag away from potatoes, which release moisture and gas that can spoil onions faster. For cut onions, use airtight glass containers and consume them within 48 hours. Avoid using aluminum foil or plastic wrap, as they trap moisture and promote bacterial growth. It's easy to overlook how something as simple as storing an onion can impact your health. But for seniors aiming to reduce inflammation, avoid digestive issues, and protect immunity, small adjustments like proper onion storage can go a long way. Think of it this way: onions are powerful, but only when handled with respect. Number 4 is potatoes. Potatoes are a beloved staple in many senior diets, affordable, filling, and versatile. They're rich in fiber, vitamin C, and potassium, and when prepared properly, they support heart health and digestive regularity. But while many people store raw potatoes in the fridge thinking it extends their shelf life, this seemingly harmless habit can create a chemical reaction that poses a hidden health risk. When raw potatoes are stored at cold temperatures, their natural starches begin to convert into sugars. This might not sound like a big deal until those sugars are exposed to high heat during cooking. The result? A compound called acrylamide, which forms when sugars and amino acids react in high heat environments like baking, frying, or roasting. Acrylamide has been linked in studies to nerve damage, inflammation, and increased cancer risk, especially in older adults with cumulative toxin exposure. The risk is even more significant for seniors because the body's ability to detoxify harmful compounds declines with age. Over time, the regular consumption of acrylamide-rich foods can increase oxidative stress, disrupt cognitive clarity, and negatively impact metabolic health. And the irony, this compound forms most intensely in some of our favorite potato dishes: golden fries, baked wedges, and roasted hash. To avoid this, store raw potatoes in a cool, dark, and dry area, such as a pantry or cellar, at temperatures between 45 to 55 degrees Fahrenheit, 7 to 13 degrees Celsius. Never refrigerate them. If you notice any green patches or sprouting eyes, it's best to discard them, as those signs indicate increased levels of solanine, another natural toxin that can cause gastrointestinal discomfort or worse in high amounts. Potatoes can absolutely remain part of a healthy senior diet, but how you store and prepare them matters. With one simple shift, keeping them out of the fridge, you can enjoy their comfort and nourishment without inviting hidden risks into your meals. By this point in the video, you might be feeling a little surprised, or even a bit concerned, and that's perfectly normal. After all, these aren't strange exotic foods we've been talking about. These are everyday items, the ones that sit quietly in our kitchens, the ones we've trusted for years. They're part of our daily routines, our go-to meals, our comfort dishes. But as we've just seen, even the most familiar foods can take a turn for the worse when they're kept in the wrong environment. The fridge, while helpful in so many ways, can quietly degrade nutrients, alter textures, and even spark chemical reactions that work against your health. For seniors, whose bodies are more sensitive to these shifts, the impact is even greater. And that's the real message here. It's not about fear, it's about awareness. It's about knowing that your health isn't just shaped by what you eat. It's shaped by how you store it, how you prepare it, and how well you understand your food. Small changes, like knowing which items to keep out of the fridge, can make a real difference in how your body feels, heals, and performs. If this information is opening your eyes, take a second to support what we're doing. Tap that like button. Share this with a friend or family member who could benefit from a safer, smarter kitchen. And subscribe to the Wellness Vault if you haven't already. We dive into practical, science-backed tips that are made for real people, especially those in their golden years. Now, if you think the first 4 foods were eye-opening, what comes next might surprise you even more. The next 3 foods on our list aren't just common. They're also some of the most easily mishandled. Each one carries unique risks when refrigerated, and they affect areas of health that matter deeply to seniors, including digestion, immunity, and nerve function. These final 3 may seem harmless at first glance, but once we break down what really happens inside the fridge, you'll understand why so many experts warn against keeping them cold. Stay with us, because food number 3 is likely something you already had for breakfast, and it may be doing more harm than good. Number 3 is bread. Bread is a comforting daily staple, especially for seniors who rely on toast, sandwiches, or soft carbs for easy meals. It provides energy, fiber, and depending on the type, can support gut health and blood sugar stability. But if you're storing your bread in the fridge to keep it fresh, you're actually speeding up the very process you're trying to avoid: staleness. Refrigeration causes bread to go stale faster, not slower. This happens due to a process called retrogradation, where the starch molecules in bread recrystallize more rapidly at cold temperatures. The result? Dry, rubbery slices that lose their softness and become difficult to chew. For older adults with sensitive teeth, dentures, or dry mouth, stale bread can be both uncomfortable and nutritionally inefficient. This textural change is more than just annoying. It can affect digestion and nutrient absorption. Dense, dried-out bread can be harder to break down in the stomach, especially for those with reduced stomach acid or slower gut motility. And when eating becomes uncomfortable, it's easy to start avoiding certain foods altogether, which may lead to unintentional nutrient gaps in your diet. The better option? Store your bread in a cool, dry bread box or cabinet away from sunlight. If you won't finish a loaf within 4 to 5 days, slice it and freeze it instead. Freezing halts the staling process entirely. When you're ready to eat, just toast or warm the slices to restore their original texture and taste without compromising quality. Bread can still be your ally in healthy aging, but only if it's treated right. Skip the fridge and store it smart. Your digestion, dental health, and even your taste buds will thank you. Number 2 is bananas. Bananas are often hailed as the perfect on-the-go snack. Rich in potassium, magnesium, and natural sugars, they support heart rhythm, muscle function, and quick energy, especially helpful for seniors managing fatigue or muscle cramps. But despite their convenience, bananas don't belong in the refrigerator. When stored in cold temperatures, bananas experience a breakdown in cell structure that interrupts their ripening process. This causes the peel to darken prematurely while the inside remains underripe and starch-heavy. The result? A bland, chalky banana that's more difficult to digest, especially for older adults with slower gut motility or sensitive stomachs. More importantly, unripe or cold-damaged bananas contain more resistant starch, which is harder for the body to process. For seniors already dealing with bloating, constipation, or sluggish digestion, this can exacerbate symptoms. Cold bananas can also lose a portion of their antioxidant content, reducing their value as a natural anti-inflammatory food. To get the most from your bananas, store them at room temperature, ideally hanging from a banana hook, to allow air circulation and reduce bruising. Want a slow ripening? Place them away from apples or ethylene-producing fruits. If they ripen too quickly, peel and freeze them for smoothies, but never refrigerate whole bananas before they ripen fully. Bananas are nature's energy bar, but only when stored and eaten at the right stage. Skip the fridge, and you'll keep their gut-soothing, heart-helping powers fully intact. Number 1 is tomatoes. Tomatoes are loaded with lycopene, a powerful antioxidant linked to reduced risk of heart disease, prostate issues, and even certain cancers. Their vibrant color and juicy texture make them a favorite in salads, sandwiches, and sauces. But toss them in the fridge, and you're stripping away their most potent benefits. Cold temperatures damage the delicate membranes inside tomatoes, breaking down the cell structure. This leads to a mushy texture and washed-out flavor. But more importantly, it reduces the bioavailability of lycopene. For seniors who rely on tomatoes for their anti-inflammatory and cardiovascular benefits, that's a hidden nutritional loss. Chilled tomatoes can also develop off-putting textures that make them less appealing to eat, resulting in fewer servings of nutrient-rich produce in your diet. And for anyone dealing with joint stiffness, inflammation, or immune sensitivity, the drop in antioxidant potency is a missed opportunity for daily support. Instead, store whole, ripe tomatoes on the counter in a bowl away from direct sunlight. Use them within a few days of ripening for optimal flavor and nutrient density. Only refrigerate sliced or cooked tomatoes if absolutely necessary, and consume them quickly. Tomatoes are one of the simplest ways to add health to your plate, but only when they're kept in their natural environment. Keep them out of the fridge, and you keep their disease-fighting power strong. Now that we've gone through all 7 foods, it's clear that the refrigerator, while incredibly useful, isn't a one-size-fits-all solution for food storage, especially for seniors. What we often think of as safe can sometimes backfire in subtle but powerful ways, and as we age, our bodies become more sensitive to these small changes, which makes awareness and prevention more important than ever. We started with tomatoes, which lose their antioxidant power and texture when chilled. Then we explored bananas, which become harder to digest and less nutritious. Bread was next, and we learned that refrigerating it actually speeds up staling and makes it tough on teeth and digestion. Potatoes followed, and perhaps most shocking was how refrigeration can convert them into a source of acrylamide, a compound linked to nerve and cancer risks. We then looked at onions, which thrive in dry, ventilated spaces, but quickly turn moldy and dangerous in a fridge. Garlic and oil was a big one. Homemade blends can foster the growth of botulism bacteria, a serious and often overlooked risk. And finally, honey, a natural healer, actually degrades in quality and texture when refrigerated, losing many of its soothing medicinal properties. All of these foods have one thing in common. They're healthy when treated right, but potentially harmful when stored the wrong way. Your refrigerator is a tool, not a trap, and now you have the knowledge to use it with confidence and care. If this video helped you learn something new, please take a moment to give it a like. Leave a comment below. How many of these foods were you refrigerating without realizing the risks? And most importantly, subscribe to the Wellness Vault for more no-nonsense, science-backed guidance designed to help you live stronger, longer, and smarter. Thank you for spending your time with us today. Your health matters, and your kitchen is one of your greatest tools. Until next time, stay curious, stay well, and remember, the small choices you make each day build the foundation for a healthier future.